What's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back. Episode number 2, guys.
Are we live? All
right. We live. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 2. This is the Boxing Club podcast straight out of Supreme Boxing Club in Lake Elsinore. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing?
Doing good. We're all here.
Doing great, man. Fantastic.
How was the weekend?
Exciting.
It was a pretty crazy weekend, man.
Crazy weekend.
I personally had a wild weekend, a rough weekend at the same. I had a good weekend as well as a rough weekend.
Talk about it, Coach.
Story time.
My weekend was, for an example, my daughters are competitor swimmers. And since we're in California, all they do is practice, distant practice in swimming. And for months they've been swimming. And so for a while they get tired of swimming. It's like anybody practicing. You're practicing, but you're not doing anything with it. So Arizona allows you to compete. So my girls wanted to compete, and I said, all right, we'll go to Arizona to compete. We can actually do that since all the training you've been doing for months of training. So we decided to go to Arizona. So from Arizona, it was, 5.5 hour drive, which is not bad for Arizona, though I don't like driving.
5.5 hours. I make it in 4.
So I tried. So being in Arizona, so here's one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. So we get to our hotel, and my wife, says, okay, hey, I got the keys to go up there. We're on the 3rd floor. So keep in mind, I just drove 5.5 hours. I'm tired.
Ready to take a nap.
So I followed my family going to the 3rd floor, going to the room, and as we unloaded, I said, hey, I'll go back downstairs to the car and grab the rest of the stuff. And as I was walking down, 1, I didn't bring the door key to get in. And 2, I don't even know what room we're in.
Oh,
I just walked away, thinking that I could get back. Typical man doesn't need instructions.
You're on autopilot.
So exactly. So I walked downstairs and go to the car and come back. And I realized when I came up to the elevator and I said, do I go left or do I go right? So I realized I don't know what room we're in. So I'm going by sight. I said, I'll make a right turn. Can't go wrong with that, going right. So I make the right turn, I'm following the hallway, and I go, oh, there's my door. And the door was ajar. So I go, perfect. My family knew that I didn't bring my key, so they were nice enough to leave the door ajar for me to walk in.
Nice.
So as I walked in, right away, it wasn't my room. So, and what I mean by that, I walked into 2 people screwing.
Oh, shit. They were doing the hibbity-dibbity.
So,
full-fledged?
They were in it. At least they were in it. So,
Was the door open?
well, the door was ajar, so I walked in. Now, they had no idea that I walked in, but I was caught off guard. So when I walked in, I yelled out, oops, wrong room. As I said that,
Yes.
they both jumped up because they were surprised, like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
So I have 2 naked people jumping up, looking at me and like, sorry, I'm in the wrong room. So as I backed out, the guy obviously got up and he looked at the door and I said, hey, I apologize, wrong room. And I just kept going. So I thought that was my room. So I go back to the elevator and I said, okay, obviously it's not a right turn, it's a left turn. So I went to the left turn, follow it right through, and then I go, oh, that's my room. So I knocked on my door and I told my wife, you're not going to believe what just happened. And I explained what happened,
Nice.
She goes, only you would not know how to get back and follow 2 people screwing. So that was my first day of going into the hotel, watching people screw on.
When we started off.
So
Moral of the story, when you want to go right, it's always left.
it's always
Go
left. So, and know what room number you're on. So that being said, that started out good. And then so as we went to practice to see where my girls needed to be, which was only a 5-minute drive, which was awesome for where we were located, I dropped my phone. And where my phone hit, it hit the glass. Cracked the glass. And so when I looked at my phone and I go, oh, great, I can't see anything there.
Man.
It could receive phone calls, but I couldn't answer
Couldn't
it.
touch the screen.
Couldn't touch the screen. So I said, all right, I'll just put the phone away. It's no longer good. And as much as I try to play with it. And to be honest, when you're all, weekend without your phone, you kind of want to look what's going on, what's happening. And obviously it seemed nothing. So I ended up walking away from it. So the whole weekend had no phone. Coming back to California, had to get a new phone. And getting the new phone, that was a pain in the butt. I don't want to go there with it. But finally, when I got my phone, I ended up having 57 texts. Who the hell's been texting me?
30 of them were from us.
There you go. So that was my weekend. It was a good weekend and a bad weekend. And meanwhile, my girls competing did well.
That's
so
good.
that was really good. So
Props
they
to
were
them.
happy about their competitive schedule level, what they were doing. So that was on a good note.
Question. How are they not competitive boxers?
I had them doing that. They're just swimmers. The mom's a swimmer.
Oh.
So because
Got
they love mom more than me.
Got
Well,
it.
technically, aren't we all swimmers?
No, I can't swim. I can't swim for shit. I'll tell you that. I can't swim for shit. So as that kind of a swimmer, yeah.
Getting
I mean,
E-Money Bear.
that was the only time I was a good swimmer.
Oh man.
That's funny. I fell into boxing because of my dad, and then just eventually fell in love with the sport. But I think that's you got to love this sport, right?
That you do. You have to love it.
It's not a. You can't come in and play and try it out and see how fun it is. You have to love this sport.
You're right. It's not an easy sport. The truth is, because being that I own a boxing gym, and people that walk in my door all want to know how to box. They all know how to fight.
How to fight, yeah.
But the
Yeah,
truth
it's fight.
is, either you have it or you don't, and you have to want it to have it. Because I want to learn how to fight, but I don't want to do the work. And that's what really kills everybody. They don't understand. You have to be very athletic. It's more than just punching. You have to understand. You fight with your feet. Your feet are everything.
Yeah.
Your feet are your fighters. They're the ones that do the moving, the slip. That's what helps you slip. How to shift your hips, and the body mechanics. That people think I'm just shifting my hands. No, it's not. And that's really the problem with people come in. They think they know how to fight, and if you watch these YouTubes where people are trying to fight, they look weird. Some of them look kind of
Funky.
funky,
Windmills.
and it's like, oh, what
Cholo
am I
windmill.
doing? And they realize, I thought I could really fight.
Cholo windmill, bro.
But
That's all.
really,
That's all the
exactly.
street fights I had.
It's
Cholo
really
windmill.
based on your footwork, what makes you
Yeah.
a fighter. So that's, anybody can throw a punch without your feet moving. It's like anybody can swing a bat.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you can hit
can't
the
hit
ball.
the ball. Yeah,
so that's
exactly.
really the thing about boxing.
So real quick, I've got a lot of feedback from our first episode. Thanks everybody who tuned in and listened. We
Oh, yeah.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
A lot of great
Thank you
feedback.
so
But
much.
everybody's
on that.
asking me like, why you? Why you guys? Why you guys decided to make a podcast? So I feel like we deserve to give them a little introduction, a little background about who we are and why we're here. So real quick, we got Coach El Guapo, Armando. Be careful because he will take your chick. We also got E Slick, who's a up and coming amateur fighter at the
Yeah, man.
moment. And we got Mr. Lou Almighty up in this building.
The Almighty.
And I am yours truly, Big Chubbs. But go ahead, Coach. Talk about yourself.
Okay, a little bit of my background. I am the owner of a boxing gym of Supreme Boxer Boxing Club.
The best fucking gym in the IE,
In
by
Lake
the way.
Elsinore, California.
And it's been
Back that up.
It's been running for 25 years. So technically, it's the first boxing club in Lake Elsinore, and we've been here 8 years. So 8 years in Lake Elsinore. Wherever I move, the gym follows. When I say it's been with me 25 years. A little bit of a background on myself. I've been in boxing all my life. I'm 57 years old. My family were boxers, so I was born into boxing. So it was not something I picked up. I was born into boxing. When I say born into boxing, 4 of my uncles fought professionally. So as an infant, they always had gloves on me. So each of my uncles were coaching me as I was growing up as a kid. And I competed for 10 years as an amateur. Ruben Barone was my main coach, which was my favorite uncle. Don't tell them that. So he was my favorite uncle and really guided me to fight. So within 10 years of amateur, I had a lot of fights as an amateur. We used to fight every week. And so keep in mind when people are like, how did you do? And I go, I thought we were playing. I didn't look at it as a fight. As a kid, you're just having fun. But I didn't play football, didn't do baseball or basketball. I wasn't really good at any of those sports. Just strictly boxing. As much as I was getting older, my parents were like, hey, you need to do football and basketball and all that. And finding out that wasn't really my niche. I love playing football on the street. I love playing basketball in the street, but as a team, it wasn't for me. So I would always go back to my boxing. So that being said, I competed for 10 years as an amateur. Right after my amateur career, I went right into pro, real young and early, and I fought professionally for 10 years. So 10 years in just fighting professionally, and I retired in '92. I became a pro in '82 and ended in '92, and from there, still a young man, you don't feel old as a boxer.
How old were you then?
I was 18 when I was a professional.
18
years old as a professional.
28.
And thanks to my dad, he said either get a job or go to the military.
Ooh.
And I said, okay, I'll get a job. My job was, I'm going to sign up to be a pro boxer, which that's not what he wanted, but that's what I ended up becoming.
Nice.
So I made $100 my first professional fight.
Gosh.
And that was a lot of money, $100.
Back then?
Back then in '82. So my dad was telling me, you got to pay rent. And I remember telling him, here you go, here's $100.
Are you giving the whole thing?
I gave him the whole thing.
Oh, dang.
And because here's the thing, it's funny. Rent was $200. Back in '82, $200 for this dump? This is my parents' house. I'm paying $200 for this dump. Here's $100 for now. And I said, and I go, I made that in just a short time.
Yeah.
And he goes, how did you make $100? I said, I went and fought professionally. And he
didn't know?
He didn't know. He wasn't happy about that.
Wow.
And he goes, I didn't want you to go professional. I said, well, I didn't want to go to the military. So
You made me choose. I chose.
you made me choose, exactly, and I chose to box. So that being said, and I loved it. It was easy for me to, as an 18-year-old, going into boxing. And again, I did it for 10 years. In '92, when they say, hey, when you get into your, just about when you're almost getting close to 30, we're considered old as a fighter. And realizing, maybe I'm getting old. I started out at 118, and then 122. Then I grew into 130, and that was really my weight at 130. As when I retired. So I realized, maybe I shouldn't fight anymore. In '95, I went back to the gym, being retired, to go back to training. And from there, training, feeling good. I still have it. And I was giving some other pro fighters some advice of what they need to be doing that I thought that was wrong. And later on, when I was leaving, they came back. They said, come back again. You were correct. You corrected us correctly. That was a good thing. And I said, okay. And that's really started my coaching career. So when I came back, I started coaching them and coaching other people. And mind you, I was doing this all for free.
So you fell into it then?
I fell into it. Yeah, I never predicted that I would ever be a coach. That was something that was not, and I never thought of myself as a coach. I saw myself as a fighter. I'm a fighter, not a coach.
What did you think about it at first, though?
It was kind of weird, but it felt good that someone asked for my advice. And I said, okay, here's what we're doing. And I remember when we were sparring, I was still beating them up. I think, God, I'm retired and I'm still beating you guys up. Correcting their mistakes as we were going. And then
he's like, take your lesson and take that too.
Exactly. And and I knew I wasn't going to go back as a pro. I said, so it basically, and how it started from there was the other coaches were getting upset that they loved that I was there. They didn't like the idea that I started taking more guys. And I realized it was disrespecting the gym. I'm not really their coach. And I'm walking in here, and people are constantly asking for my advice. Therefore, that's how my gym grew. It started in a garage. I said, you know what? I can't train you guys here. But you know what? If you still want to learn from me, let's go to my house, and I'll train you in my garage. That way, nobody knew about it. As we did that, my garage started growing. And believe it or not, I wasn't charging. I just enjoyed the sport.
Oh my gosh,
so
that's how it starts.
When you don't charge and you give everybody free lessons of boxing, it gets really big.
Really crowded.
And I remember to this day when I started out, I said, you know what? I need to start charging.
Yeah.
So I told everybody, okay, $10 a person.
Damn, I met you too late.
Right? So at $10, I said, man, this is cool. This is great. I'm teaching some people $10 that I loved. That again, I would have continued free.
Yeah.
So that's how I started growing with the boxing, and then from there, it just kept growing, getting bigger and bigger, and here we go. I own a boxing gym.
Nice.
A
that
beautiful
goes
boxing gym at that. To be
yeah,
honest.
very much so. And that goes to inform everyone who sees, Adrian Broner and Floyd Mayweather's 100 cars and 3 mansions. It doesn't start like that. You have to, like I said, you have to love the sport because a lot of people make no money. Spend money. You're like in the negative with your training camp, and there's no money at first.
And that is so true. I mean, now the gym's been going on for 25 years, which is a long time, which it made no money. which makes no sense to continue to work. So, but I loved the sport, but I continued it. But now the gym is profitable.
Yeah.
I have to say, so I'm doing good.
Very
So
good,
being
very good.
patient and all that, and I love it. So, and I love my gym. So,
Well, that's Coach El Guapo.
Wapo.
He's slick. What's up, baby?
So
Talk
what's
to
up?
me.
So man, like I started literally after high school. I pretty much is just a bunch of guys, all it is, finals, testing, doing this and that, and a couple of my friends had a pair of boxing gloves after school, so I was like, let's throw hands a little bit. And I didn't want to be the one that
do it.
I didn't want to be the guy that got his ass kicked or the guy, get knocked out. Everyone's gonna remember. And so I started training, at home. And my dad saw me. He's like, "Man, you're pretty good. You hit kind of hard. You want to train at a boxing gym?" I was like, "I guess if I don't want to pay for it, but I'll go. I'll see what's
Try
up.
it.
I'll just test it out."
Yeah.
And that's when I found this place, in Lake Elsinore. And I started coming here. It's a little in there, a little.
which it was it?
Supreme Boxing Club.
Oh,
in Lake Elsinore,
there you
California.
go. Okay.
Shameless
The one and only gym.
Shameless plug.
Oh yeah, and I just liked it. I just like the feeling you get when you come in the gym. It's very feel the camaraderie. With just everyone here.
Yeah, definitely.
And I slowly started building up. And I've been in boxing for 5 years now.
That's good.
And started here. Been here since. Training with Coach. And what's funny is that he used to live down the street from me. And when he was training people out of his garage,
Really?
he literally I could walk to his house in like 5 minutes. And I did not know.
But you were a little kid, or
I,
you were
I
of age?
was probably I was like in high school. I could have been training with him since I was a freshman.
Dang.
And I wish I would have. I would have known he was
Yeah,
right there.
5-minute walk.
5-minute walk versus now a freaking 40-minute drive.
Still make you jog
How
around the
many,
block.
how
before
many
you
amateurs? How many amateur fights you got right now?
Right now I have 8. I would have more, but people look at me. I've showed up. We've shown up, and they just look at us and they're like, "We don't want to fight."
Oh yeah, because you're tall.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
tall,
tall.
and yeah, you're
I'm
big.
tall and
You're a big
lanky,
boy.
so I'm like, people look at me and they get intimidated.
Cool.
So what's up with you, Luke?
Well, for me, I have one of those back-to-back stories for that. But to shorten it up, I grew up in boxing as well. My dad was a big boxer in the Bay Area, Oakland, Richmond, California. He all in the newspapers. Grew up fighting, turned pro, undefeated, and then eventually moved down to Southern California. It kind of got me into it, walked me into the gym at I want to say 11 years old, 10 years old. Walked me into the gym on D Street in Paris, California. And
Is that P-Town boxing?
that's P-Town. No, it's not P-Town boxing. It was D Street. I forget the name of the gym at that time, but it was not what P-Town boxing is now. But I was there maybe like a month or 2 months, and kind of getting into it. And I was pushed on to the side to learn the fundamentals. And hard-headed as I am, I didn't want to learn fundamentals. I wanted to just get in there and bang. And then eventually, got the lazy kid mentality. My dad wouldn't drive me to the gym. He wanted me to run, and I didn't want to run over there. I wanted him to take me to the gym. So eventually just threw my hands up. And I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. I'm not fighting anyone, and I'm not getting right to the gym. So I let it go, but I always loved boxing. I always watched it. We watched all the pay-per-views, and eventually got into the cable business. And I was driving up north, moved back to Richmond, and I remember driving up to the office one day after, if I remember correctly, it was around like the De La Hoya versus Mayweather fight, one of the big fights, or Shane Mosley. And I'm like, I remember thinking that night, this is, I'm athletic enough to do it, and I just don't know why I never did it. And my dad's like, you're only 20-something years old, just do it. Why don't you just do it? And I remember driving to the office that day, and I drove by Novato Boxing Club, and I literally turned the truck around, got off the exit, signed up that day, went and got a haircut, got a mohawk haircut, a faux hawk, and got some gloves, and I started training that day. Signed up, paid the fee, started training.
So you didn't go to work that day?
I did not go to work that day. I went in late, but I didn't really work, if that makes any sense. Then from there, I worked my way up, and I wasn't in a like an entry level class, and like I said, I'm hard headed, man. I wanted to bang, and I would not. They just wouldn't throw me in there. And eventually, I learned it's because it's for your own safety. There's so much more to just banging and throwing leather. You have to learn to protect yourself and all that good stuff. And I didn't understand that, and I didn't want to understand it. I wanted to spar. So eventually went out of that gym into Richmond RPAL with Coach John Island, and he took me to the side and groomed me a little bit more, sitting on the right hand, and just a lot more detail in the training. And that's when I really turned it into a more serious. I started going almost every day, and then I moved to Los Angeles for work, and that's where I ended up at the last gym I was at the Tengus Boxing Gym with Ricky Funes and Joe Goosen. And that's when it really turned real. That's when I learned the realness of training, sparring with prospects, at the time prospects, like Juan Funes, Maurice Lee. I actually sparred Andre Berto. Just a lot of stuff like that, and really seeing the intense training, like the diets and the back end of the box, the business end. You know, they were always in there talking contracts, and I'm like, it was just a whole different world. And you know, just fell in love with it. Kept training till I could, and just recently stopped training. But if I could, I'd live and breathe boxing.
That's what's up.
Now, it's amazing, if I can cut in. Real quick, in case for you guys that don't know, now Lou does the apparel for us.
That's right.
So,
Pro level.
That's right.
So
Pro
talk
level
about
apparel,
that pro
baby.
level.
Well, pro level started kind of as a hobby with my former business partner. We went out to get some T-shirts made, and it was like a headache. It was weird. Nothing was straightforward. So we were like, let's just do it ourselves. So we started doing it ourselves, and then being tied into the boxing game, I knew a lot of up and coming fighters. I knew a lot of prospects, a couple of pros, and you know, with 10 Goose Boxing as well. I'm sure if you're in the boxing game, you know their shirts, you know, the goose with a star. We made those for him too, but it was designed by Savages, I think, or something like that. But we turned that hobby into designing, you know, making logos, making apparel, and then eventually getting deep into the apparel game. So transferred it over here. So now my brand is Pro Level Apparel, and we do the shirts for Supreme Boxer. We'll be doing all the merch for the boxing club as well. So look out. We'll have the links up soon. Make sure to support them.
For sure, the quality of the shirts are good. The printing is good.
Absolutely.
I have to
Fantastic,
admit,
absolutely.
I've been to several printers. Like you said, it is complex when you want someone to help you out do the shirts and all and designing. You've designed quite a few different logos for me,
Yep.
Which I love. The quality of the shirts. The minute I went with your shirt, everyone told me I love the quality of the shirt. Apparently, I had some cheap shirts. So,
But you know, we pride ourselves on that. We don't put it out unless you have to literally almost beg me to put out a cheap shirt for you if you want to pay like minimal, and I'll even help you out in a sense because I don't like putting out cheap quality.
I have to agree because you sold me on it because everyone complimented the shirts, you know, and I was like, I wasn't expecting to hear it. And there was, I like the quality of the shirt.
Yeah.
It's soft. Apparently, the shirts I had felt like sandpaper.
Yeah, you know, there's thousands and thousands of you know, quality levels of quality types of shirts, and then different levels of quality. But like I said, we don't like to put out cheap stuff. We don't like to put out. We want you to not only like the design, but like to be in the shirt. We want it to be your favorite shirt. And the boxing club, we want that to be your favorite shirt.
That it is, and it's pro
level.
Pro level
You can
apparel.
find us on Instagram, Pro Level Apparel.
Put it right.
Very
Big
good.
letters.
All right. Well, I'm Big Chubbs. I've been here, Coach? 4 months?
4 months. Yeah, 4 months.
4 months.
He is training, ladies and gentlemen.
I am training.
He's training, actually doing it. I can't
took
wait to see him
on-
spar. I
I
can't
always-
wait to see him spar.
Take-
I always
Mike
told
Tyson.
myself I was big and sexy,
And you are.
but then I got really big and left out the sexy.
Came too much.
So I was just said, damn, and I was telling my boy Lou right here, damn, bro, I really want to lose weight. He's like, fuck it, go box. Nah, hell no. Nah, just go box, bro. You lose that shit quick.
I
was
tell
like,
everyone
how
that.
quick?
Yeah.
So, oh, you lose it real quick. So I got introduced to Supreme Boxer Gym here in Elsinore about 4 months ago, and I'm down 38 pounds.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Congratulations
Coach.
on that.
That clapper.
Very good.
Clapper.
Good on that.
But I'm your casual fan. I think I know a little bit more than your average casual fan. But
Yeah, we put him up on game as much as we
I
can.
think the chemistry that we had, like off top with Coach and Lou, and Eric was the first one to pull me to the side and burn the hell out of my legs. He's like, hey, you gotta stand like this, and I was like, what the fuck? Why does that shit burn so much?
Oh yeah.
Why does it hurt? It's not supposed to hurt like this.
Nah, dude,
have a muscle there.
I almost cried, bro. Like,
Really?
yeah. And slowly I kept coming back, and I've been here 4 months, and I just decided one day, like, damn. After listening to these type of conversations, Lou being, with his background, Eric being an up and coming fighter, and boxing guru over here, has been doing it for longer than I've been born, than I've been alive, and it's like I felt like it was a perfect chemistry, and here we are.
Yeah. He called me
Here we
one
are.
day and he was like, "Let's do a podcast," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Let's do a podcast." For real? And I'm like, "Let's see where this goes," and put it together. We got Coach involved and we got Eric. Here we are.
Exactly.
Here we are.
When he said, "Hey, do you want to be in it?" I go, "I'll be honest. I was hesitant. Not really. I'm a coach and a lover, not a podcaster here.
Not a Potter.
But it worked out. I actually enjoy myself. Hey, if I can chime in for you, real quick, from many people that know Eric and don't know Eric, when Eric came into my gym, now he's gonna go, "Don't talk about that."
Oh, yeah.
Eric was a heavy kid.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't a skinny kid. Now, if you look at Eric,
I look okay now.
he's fit. You look at him, he's fit. When I tell people, he used to be heavy, that's impossible.
He's fit and I'm
He's
fat.
fit. When you look at him, he's lean, all muscled out and all that. And there's no way that he was heavy. And I would tell everybody, "Hey, Eric, show me your fat picture.
That's all I hear. Is, "Hey, Eric," I'm all thinking he's
Show me
gonna
your
talk to me
fat
about-
picture.
He's gonna ask me something. I'm
So-
like, "Show me your
Yeah.
fat picture."
No,
Show me your fat picture." And to be honest with you, the people that know Eric didn't realize, I didn't know he was heavy. And
I tripped out when I
I
saw
would've
your
never
picture,
guessed.
bro.
You
really?
see how
Hell
heavy he was.
yeah. I
And-
was
and
like,
the-
oh, damn.
And you see him jump rope. He's a great jump roper. But when he came
still can't
into
do
the
that.
gym, he
Oh,
didn't
I
know how to
can
jump rope. He didn't know how to jump
I'd be
rope.
like, 1, 2, stop. 1, stop.
That's how I am
1,
right
2,
now.
Stop.
But I'm getting a little better.
It just takes,
It takes
time, and
time.
you'll get there. And like I said, if you know Eric, you look at it. There's no way for the ones who are listening. I want to see his fat picture. We'll post it up. But
Actually, you know what? We're posting that on the gram today.
Oh, man,
so
check
you
it
gotta
out.
Oh, yeah,
see it.
before and after.
So
The-
boxing
the-
worked well for him,
progression.
just losing the weight itself.
I'm
he
getting there.
competes.
I'm
So
getting
there
there,
you go.
Coach. I'm
So-
getting
Yeah, I
there.
went from like 200 to 148 was my
140
lowest.
148.
Dang.
It's
So
about almost 50
What
pounds.
weight do you compete at?
Last 158.
158. Oh, yeah, you're a big boy.
Yeah, I'm 6 feet.
All right, well, that's us. Thank you guys for tuning in. But let's talk about this past week in fights.
Oh man,
You guys,
is a big name.
You guys watched that this weekend, or?
AJ, yes.
I told you, and I
Picked them
told you on the
apart.
last one, Anthony Joshua, man.
Hey, bro, that uppercut looked vicious, though.
He is vicious. I'm telling you.
He hit him with like 4 in a row, right?
Bro, it was like, bah.
When it comes to the
Bah.
uppercut, it really is an easy punch to throw.
He just
He made it look easy. I was like, there's no way, because when you throw uppercuts, you're taking a chance of being countered.
Are you saying it isn't an easy one?
It's
or
not
it's
an easy
Okay.
thing to do.
Right.
It's not at all.
You're exposed.
You're very
You're
vulnerable.
exposing yourself to throw. But the way he was throwing it, he made it look so good and easy. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna start throwing uppercuts.
He was cutting butter with
Yeah,
that.
Like, he
Dude,
was. It
so-
was. That's what really ended up.
brutal.
It was the beginning and the ending of it,
Oh, yeah.
of the fight, and he actually looked really good. He was boxing beautifully, and his body physique looked so well trimmed. Considering when he came in, he looked like Mr. Universe. And I was like,
before?
yeah,
Yeah,
those muscles are
yeah.
like those are gonna hurt him.
The old age he was buff,
if
yeah.
you're looking for Mr. Universe, you're
was very
perfect
nice.
for it.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I was a little bit tipsy on Saturday, so I was looking at it through a different perspective.
The shadows.
But when I seen him fight in that ring,
Right.
I don't know if it was the color of his trunks, but he reminded me of like a Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no, I get it.
The way
I
he
get
was,
it.
the way
I
he
get it.
was moving, the way he was gliding, the way he was throwing his
I'm
punches.
telling you, man.
Man,
and
dude,
I know a
he-
lot of people,
He looked amazing.
He's very athletic.
very much so.
Like, I think that is the best fight that I've seen him fight. was this past weekend. You know, the way like he was on his toes. You know, he was moving.
Did
He
you
was
see him
dodging.
fight Klitschko?
Huh?
When you see him fight Klitschko, when he beat Klitschko?
Yes, and I still think he did way better in this fight.
Yeah, no, he did.
He looked like a straight stud, and I was like, holy moly, guacamole!
Yeah.
This dude, like, I see a lot of resemblance, like, of Muhammad Ali,
Right.
in Joshua.
No,
Am I wrong?
I
Am I
wouldn't disagree
tripping?
on that at all. I mean, that says a lot because there's only one Muhammad Ali.
I mean, the inside ring showmanship, definitely not there, but the skill, like the way he's very smooth.
Bro,
I meant it what I said last time that to me he was almost like like made to be a boxer, like put together.
He
Bro,
does.
he like the way he was. He's a big ass dude.
Yeah,
And
Very much
he
so.
was,
What, like
he was,
6'6", 250?
he was moving, dude. Like I was like, man, this guy is fucking smooth.
and he has a cool accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Right?
And with that cute smile, like, oh, great.
I'm telling you,
this
the
guy's got
dude
it all.
just
Hey, coach, I think you got a thing for him,
Oh,
man.
pretty much. Call it as I see it.
Hear that, AJ?
When you're good looking, you can tell other people they're good looking too.
right.
But yeah, man, that fight was great.
And he had that nice finishing right hand.
Oh,
Nice extension on it. That was a nice signature right hand. And that was all over. It looked good.
Here's a real question: does he fight Tyson Fury next?
Well, he
Well,
dodged
he has
that
to.
question, bro, at the post interview.
He doesn't want that smoke, man.
Now
Bro.
he has to. So who else is there?
Did you see it?
I mean, he could
Once
fight-
again,
he could fight. He could do another Ruiz fight, which I don't think is
Nah,
as
hell
attractive.
no. Not right now.
He could fight Dylan White, which was the original fight before Ruiz. He could fight. He could fight the Bomber.
Yeah, there's Wilder there.
not?
I mean, that's originally was supposed to work up to was
Yeah.
him and
The-
Wilder.
So for the people that don't know, since Mayweather left, the welterweight division has been flooded with a bunch of new up and comers like Thurman and Garcia, and was Broner at the time. Then it kind of the Bomber made it more popular to
Right.
look at the big guys because it was Klitschko's and they were a lot of people called them boring fighters.
And he
they
was an
weren't getting-
American.
and and they weren't exactly, and they weren't getting dethroned. Then Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua came in the picture. Then we got a humongous buzz when Ruiz upset this guy we're talking about,
Right.
Anthony Joshua, and then you throw the Bomber in the mix. And now you got Tyson. So now it's like a super exciting division to watch. Like these big guys.
The heavyweights
back
is worth
and-
talking about
oh,
now.
big time.
Exactly.
I want to see all those fights. I want to see Ruiz. I want to see Ruiz fight the Bomber.
Oh, that would be a
Tyson
great fight.
Fury, AJ. Before all that, it was supposed to be AJ and the
Wilder.
Bomber.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And then they both got clipped on their fights that weren't supposed to lose.
Right.
And now it's all entangled with the other guys. And I'd love to see them all fight each other.
hell yeah, fucking WWE style Royal Rumble.
But I think they're saying
Tag team.
that Ruiz is supposed to fight Chris Arreola. I don't know how true that is, but.
But why Chris though, dude?
He used to be a name.
He used to
be,
like
but-
years ago, like
Right.
what, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, he got beat up by the other Klitschko brother.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a brutal
that
fight
hurt.
too.
That
Yeah,
hurt a lot.
I was like, damn.
I was
He
helping.
was like the Mexican
Yeah.
guy we were rooting for, the bald cholo. We're like, get out with the tattoos. And, oh no, why you let him hit you like that?
So you think Tyson Fury's
Stop
next or
hitting
what?
you.
Dude, Tyson
'Cause,
Fury,
dude, did you see his call him out again?
dude, yeah.
he called him out quick.
Yeah, I
actually.
said that on the last
after
That's
episode.
like
This guy
not
is a
even 30
monster.
minutes later, the fight was over. He was like, "I want the smoke." Why did you dodge that question? The dude's
coming,
I was
bro.
like, "Oh damn, this was on it."
He's coming to campaign that whole division.
Right.
I think Tyson Fury's that's his goal. Come get me. I'm here, or I'll come get you.
For Anthony Joshua, that was a good fight. It was like a stepping stone for him. Like, okay, I'm comfortable. I did well with this.
Yeah.
You know, he needed that confidence level because,
Yeah.
you know, when you get knocked out and you lose, your confidence goes out the window.
Right.
And he's still finding himself. And, you know.
But he looked great.
But he
He
looked
looked
great.
super
The
sharp,
guy can
great.
box. That's the thing. He can box. He can move. You know, he can punch. Like I said, he looked in shape.
Yeah. Oh. dude,
So basically,
yeah, I don't
he
think
looked
it's
really good.
physique,
So now,
yeah.
but it's the confidence. You know, does he have the confidence?
confidence.
Just because you play the part, is the confidence. I mean, again, boxing really is
Mental.
95% mental.
Mental.
You have to be mentally prepared and ready, want to do it. You know, physically is physical. I always tell everybody, everyone's in shape. but how mental are you?
Yeah.
And that could be the issue. Is he really mentally goes, this was a good win for me, I'm happy with it, but am I ready for the next step of challenging myself from there? You know, if he was undefeated, his mental would be a lot stronger, and he goes, yeah, let's do it. But, you know, that being knocked out carries with you for quite a while. And the way he lost, and he wasn't supposed to lose
Right.
at all.
Especially
when everybody looked at who he was fighting. You know, not knocking
Ruiz.
Ruiz at all, but he just overlooked. He was like, I'm bigger than you. I'm in better shape than you. There's no way
I
you're
got
going
a
to
cool
do this.
accent. I'm in shape. I'm richer
And
than you.
You know,
Come on.
not only lost, he got embarrassed.
Yeah, he did.
So therefore, he was like, you know, am I really who I am? So he's still learning more about himself. You know, when you're undefeated, you feel you're unstoppable till you get stopped, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, I'm not really ready to challenge these other fighters.
Wake up call.
And the King, the Fury, looks good, and he's calling everybody out. So therefore, you're like, you know what? Maybe, I'm gonna try to hesitate this challenge here, and that's really the truth.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Do you think it's like promoters? Do you
Oh, they
think it's,
promoters are always involved. So,
Always.
so that's
or,
another
or,
thing
is he,
too.
or is he really scared?
No. See, I don't believe a fighter is actually scared. Being smart is one thing, but being a fighter, like when Canelo was being called out, being scared of being.
We're potting here.
Whoops, sorry about that. Being called out for being scared of. I say called out, but they were saying he was scared of Triple G. I don't think any of these fighters are scared to fight another fighter in their weight class. They're ready. That's what they train for. They're fighters in their heart. I don't think they're scared.
So promoters make
I
fighters
think
look
promoters are scared to lose the way they're
money
guiding.
That is very much true. The
Right?
promoters really they want to have all the
Leverage.
fighters in their stable.
Yeah, and the leverage of.
And basically they make all the money.
Yes.
Then when it comes to another promoter, they're fighting. The promoters are fighting about who makes the most money. They go, you promoted on your side, I promoted on my side. I'm the A side. No, I'm the A side.
Right.
So the A and the B side,
Right.
it's all right. The A side gets the most money.
Yeah.
Pretty much they do the controlling. Yes, correct.
They choose
and
the
they have to
ring,
say
the
so.
glove.
Who comes out
Well,
first?
the thing is with promoters, you got to understand this. When the A side wants, it makes a difference. The size of the ring, the entrance, the gloves, what they wear and what they do. I mean, it really is.
the drug testing.
Very much all goes into it. Plus, now we're talking about the money. The A
Lion's
side. I want
share.
70%. You get
The
40%.
lion's share, yeah.
And a lot of times, like, no, there's no way. It's either 50-50 or not. You're not giving me 40 where you get 70. There's a lot that goes into it. It really.
And some of these guys turn divas, and I won't get too much into it. I want to say
Miguel Cotto.
Miguel Cotto, as much as I like him as a fighter, style-wise and everything, as all the back end stuff I used to read up and like when he fought Mayweather. If you guys all pay attention to the Mayweather Cotto fight, Cotto came out announced like a champion, and when he fought Sergio Martinez, he did the same thing. He held no belts. He wasn't the A side. He just felt that I put asses in seats.
Yeah.
And I'm Miguel Cotto. So to fight me is kind of like a privilege. So I get announced as a champion regardless. And Mayweather was like, go ahead, and we'll fight at 154. Mayweather was like, all right, cool. I want the best, whatever you want. I want the best Miguel Cotto. And a lot of people don't know that. They fought with big gloves at Miguel Cotto's comfortable weight, which is a little heavier than Mayweather was. He got announced as a champion, Cotto did. And a couple of other things. I think he got like a good share of pay-per-view or something like that. But nonetheless, that to me is disrespectful as in the sport, because if you're the champion, you should be announced as a champion. You should get the side of the champion in the ring. I
right.
respect that.
No, I agree. I see that happening.
He's looking at it and turned proud to beat Miguel Cotto up myself. No, he's a good fighter, man. You can't take. I can't as much as the whole diva thing.
Well,
Miguel Cotto was
Again,
was a
the
great
A
champion.
side, what people don't understand is they pick the judges.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Really?
The A side
I
picks the
did not know
judges, and
that.
I'll tell you how this works. When you wonder why sometimes, how come the fight's not meeting? When you have two fighters, they know all the judges. And
the ref too, right?
And the refs.
The refs.
So they know, they go, hey, but they go with the judges first. This is what the biggest issue with the judging. It's not like you get whatever you get. Nope, because I don't like that judge. That judge made me lose my fight. That judge did not give me that round. So you play favorites. Oh, I like this judge. He made me win this fight. It's like with anybody.
But it's a
like
different
having
night, though,
someone
isn't it?
like these guys know me. They like me. I know they're on my side. These guys don't care less about me, so I don't want them.
But isn't it a different night? They could be seeing a different thing. Your performance is different. I mean, I see what your point, but isn't it also like for example, I gotta stop saying, like, using Mayweather as an example is just so hard. Mayweather Canelo.
Right.
That was if anyone can bring me factual material to debate that Canelo won that fight, I didn't see it. What I saw that night was Canelo going to school and learning a lot from that loss. It was a clear loss for Canelo.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, there was one judge that had Canelo winning that fight.
I agree.
Or a draw or something like that. Something crazy. I was like,
what? Now when it comes to judging, and people think it's easy to judge, the fact is, when you're watching in TV, you have multiple angles. You have the best view.
Right.
If you ever watch a live fight, you don't really see everything.
Right.
Because of where you're sitting, and that you only have one angle, versus there's multiple cameras. And so when you're at home, you're like, oh, I could see it from above, from the left,
side,
from the
from
right,
the-
from the bottom.
2 feet away.
People don't understand that. And so when they go, I don't understand why that judge, his score is so fucked
probably
up.
looking at the guy's back.
So, and the
Got
fact
it.
is,
Got
keep in
it.
mind, the judge is in the center of the ring on one side.
Yeah.
So if the fight's happening in the opposite side, he can't really see that well. He sees the one side of the back and not the other side of the front. So that's why they're in angles from the judges. So you could get two judges looking at two same view. The third judge can't see it and sees like, it's almost like he's guessing.
Got it.
What he's looking for. He
that
goes,
makes a lot
I
of
think
sense.
he
I
has a
didn't
good
know
one.
that.
That's why you have 3 different scores, because of the angles of the ring.
Yeah.
And they don't have the multiple cameras from going from left to right, and they say, I didn't see a body shot. Because, with this other guy goes, I scored it because of the body shot. And the right hand, I saw this, but he didn't see the right hand. So that's why you have different scoring. But people don't understand that. They go, when you say, I saw this in clear sight, how did this judge not see it?
Yeah.
Because you had a better angle on your TV.
Yeah,
than
that makes a lot of sense.
So that's why there's different scoring. So when you're fighting, you have to look good to all 3 judges. So I always tell the guys, when you're fighting, know where the judges are at, and give at least 2 judges a good angle to see you. And then when you change your angles, because that's what it is.
Right.
It's a whole thing. As for referee, again, you choose your referee when it's a pay-per-view fight. And again, just because you're a fighter, I don't like this referee for anything. I don't want him on my side. I don't want him in the fight. He keeps pushing me back, telling me what to do, what not to do. I don't need him in my face.
Right. And there's some referees that will let you fight inside or fight a little closer,
Right.
and some refs will push you. They'll
break it up.
They'll break it up
True.
quick. I mean that's a good point, unless you're Edgar Berlanga.
Oh,
You don't need no judge for that.
You don't need a judge for that.
Well,
No.
that dude's all stoppages, right?
all stoppages.
Impressive.
100%.
100%.
How many fights?
Knock 16.
16
16
fights,
and
16
16
knockouts.
fights, 16 knockouts. Did you see
all
him this
all in
weekend?
the first round. All in the first
Really?
round.
Yeah.
All in the
What?
first round?
All in the
not-
first
oh,
round.
I
didn't know that.
He's never hit the second round.
No way.
He's never. He's knocked. All those knockouts are in the first round.
That's,
Look that
I'm
up.
looking
That's
it up.
crazy.
I gotta
Oh my
fact
God,
check
I gotta
this.
check this
Damn.
kid out.
So that kid's impressive.
I knew he was like at 100% knockout, but I didn't know first round.
First
Jeez.
round.
It's first
So,
round.
First round
and
knockouts.
something like that, Coach. Would you say that's super talented or super risk taker?
Well,
Little bit of
in
both.
the first round, you're not really. There's a risk in boxing. There's a risk in anything you do.
Yeah.
So you can't say he's not talented. Clearly, he's heavy-handed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's willing to throw his hands, and he believes in his power. That's why. What comes to boxing, this is kind of funny. So, the average person who doesn't fight doesn't run away from anybody. Let's say you're 18 years old,
Yeah.
and you came up a kid that's 12 years old. You're not going to run away from a 12-year-old. You're pretty confident.
Right.
I could beat this kid. So even if this 12-year-old fights you, you're going to fight him because he's 12 years
Right.
old. Until this 18-year-old, he's 18. Then you respect him. Right? You're like,
Right.
oh, well, we're the same level.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in boxing, it's the same way. The way when you come in there with your confidence, like, I'm going to treat him like a 12-year-old. I'm going to attack him. There's
bully
no
him
way I'm
around,
going to
yeah.
bully back up. Well, that's how he does. He treats you like a 12-year-old. He doesn't respect you as an
Yeah.
equal on that fight. So when I was watching him, I go, oh, he's just hammering him, and like he was beating up a 12-year-old kid. And that's really, anyone who fights understands that. Yeah, you're right. When you got the confident world, oh, I could beat this guy like senselessly, and there's no way he's in my caliber, and I beat him. Where the respects when he's like, oh, you're as equal as I am.
That's almost like saying. I mean, you got to have a certain level of respect to any opponent, but it seems like this guy's mentality is just like, I don't care, let's go. I'm coming to do one thing.
He's looking right now because he's in a total high level right now.
That's crazy. It's 16 fights yet?
16 KOs.
Wow.
Sick. And I think I was telling you when I talked to you on yesterday.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, dude, this kid is amazing. This kid, dude, I'm telling you, Brooklyn, stand up for Brooklyn, because you got Teofimo Lopez from Brooklyn,
Right.
and then you got Edgar Berlanga from Brooklyn.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And dude, I'm telling you,
those kids are creating some buzz.
Man.
Teofimo Lopez, I think I called him before the Lomachenko fight, and I picked Lomachenko to win. I said this Lomachenko's just he's nice, man, super nice. But I told him on the phone. I told Chubbs, Teofimo Lopez is a big kid for that.
Right.
He's a big kid.
Very much so.
He's a risk taker. He's fearless, and I don't think he's gonna care about the.
I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Loma.
Yeah, I told him that. I wouldn't be
He's like,
surprised. Man, I would not be surprised, but I've got Loma to win.
And he looks like a boxer. When you look at him, he looks like a fighter. When you're like, ooh, that's a fighter.
Yeah.
Teofimo?
Yes.
Oh yeah, very
Looks like
much
a
so.
fighter.
Very much so. You know, the dad I think is like a watered down version of Angel Garcia.
Right.
Doesn't quite pull it off because Angel's just, I don't know, something about Angel Garcia is just entertaining. But nonetheless, man, Teofimo Lopez, he can fight, and all those kids in that lower division are creating buzz. Tank, Shakur Stevenson,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Teofimo
Shakur
Lopez.
Stevenson had an amazing fight.
Dude, I've
this
been
weekend,
a
too.
fan of Shakur Stevenson for a long time. Me and my cousin argue about that in the garage all the time. All those kids should be in the mix too. Ryan Garcia, in my opinion, Ryan Garcia is he's got a little too much buzz for what he's got on resume. In
More just the
comparison,
Instagram fame that got
Instagram fame,
blew
right?
him up.
Yes,
And he's a pretty boy.
and he's a pretty boy, under the pretty boy,
Right.
Oscar De La Hoya. of
Correct.
course.
All his knockouts have been under 3 minutes.
Who's?
Edgar Berlanga's.
Yeah. Told you.
Gosh,
Under
that
3 minutes,
Under
bro.
3 minutes.
Wow, man.
That's why he doesn't go to the second round.
Thing is, could he last? Versus quality fighter.
Yeah, like what if he gets like a precision boxer,
Even a very defensive
super
fighter.
boxer or super defensive
45
fighter?
seconds was his.
Nuts.
Can he hang in the later rounds?
Shouts to
Wow,
that guy.
that's amazing. That dude, there was crazy fights this weekend.
Very much so.
Did you guys check out Chris Colbert?
Yes.
I didn't get to see that one, but he's a beast, a little.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Like I don't understand why there's so many good fights in one day.
There was very much good fights.
Everything's funneling down, man.
Do you
Everyone's been
know
on
how
break.
hard that is to keep up? Trying to watch
Yeah.
4 or
Watch-
5 different
yeah.
fights at
Right.
the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm over here telling you, oh, I was watching PBC, but it was really ESPN.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. I go, that was ESPN top rank.
my friend Johnny had me looking at things a little
And
different.
that was a good fight. That really was.
Hey, for all of you guys that like boxing but are not like tuned in like this, keep an eye out on these guys, on the names. Shakur Stevenson, of course you guys,
Colbert.
Chris Colbert,
Edgar
Berlanga, all these guys
Teofimo.
Teofimo Lopez. A lot.
Right.
I think a lot of people know
Gervonta
Teofimo.
Davis.
They're all just.
Yeah, everybody knows Gervonta.
That's stacked.
Tank Davis.
Yeah.
And you got Pretty Boy Ryan.
I wonder. He's fighting
Luke Campbell.
Luke Campbell.
Was it January?
which is a solid dude.
January 2nd,
I
yeah.
know he went. What did he go 12 rounds with Lomachenko? Right.
I think so.
He went the full
Yeah,
length.
I think so.
Went
Yeah.
the distance.
Yeah.
But that dude, he called out Gervonta Davis.
Right.
He called out
Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
He doesn't want that smoke.
He said he's gonna knock every single one of them out because they've all disrespected him on social media.
After what Davis did to Santa Cruz, I'm like,
Bro, can we not talk about that because like it hurts my heart, bro.
Hurts
I'm
too
not gonna
much.
lie. That knockout by Leo Santa Cruz still makes me cry.
Tank's a hitter, apparently.
Yeah, he's a big,
Clearly a
big
puncher.
hitter.
Did you guys? I don't know if you guys tuned into boxing from Mexico.
I have not.
nah, I haven't seen
Not much.
Not much.
No.
Dude, they
I
got
was out of town.
They got some heat down there too, dude. Like, I was trying to catch that too. Boxeo, Boxeo or something like that.
Right, Boxeo, yeah.
Yeah.
Azteca, yeah.
Hey, these two sisters, the Fernandez sisters.
Right.
Oh my God, beast,
The pros?
beast, super beast, dude. Diana La Bonita,
Oh yeah, I've seen her.
and dude, and her sister. Oh my gosh, they put in some work this weekend too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, big time. Yep. So, Triple G's also fighting this weekend.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
We were just talking about him too.
Is this his second fight with his new trainer?
Yes.
Yeah, right. So, and that last fight didn't look too good.
No,
His
for him.
performance wasn't that good. That's
I felt like
true.
he almost got stopped.
Fell off.
I know he had a couple combinations that.
So,
like
do you think it's
devastating.
because you know how we were talking about that last time, right? About the switching of the coach.
It's a combination of several things. One, switching, like you said,
Does he
switching
not
coaches
trust him?
is basically trusting. You may like your new coach, but you may not believe in your coach when your coach tells you, hey, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. And you're like, oh, really? Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing? Versus your original coach would tell you, hey, do this. Okay, I believe in you, what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So it's a trust issue when you're working in a corner, and you're as a fighter, you're like, are you giving me the right advice? Sometimes you don't see that. You're like, I wanted you to do this, I didn't see it, I wasn't feeling it, and there's that believing in your coach what to do. You like your original coach can say, hey, I need you to dive off this building. Okay, who dive off this building? Where the new coach, I ain't diving off no building.
Yeah.
So it's a trust issue. And I know coaches know that as a trainer. We go, hey, you have to believe in what I'm telling you. So there's a bond you have to build. And so you start out as a slow fight and work with each other. And then you'll realize that your coach does have your back, or he understands how you fight, because your original coach knows who you are. Your new coach, you think of your new coach, I don't think you know me yet. To really trust me to do this. So that's why you get those issues. So that's a combination of one. Two, he's not as young as he used to be.
Age,
Is
yeah.
it possible that he got old? And and that happens a lot too.
He took some really stressful fights a lot. I mean, when he fought Danny Jacobs gave him some work.
Oh,
Oh,
he
that was a
did.
good fight too. Yeah.
And
And
that's
Canelo,
exactly-
of course, he went out in some wars with Canelo.
Do you think he got demoralized from that Canelo loss?
I feel he did.
Yeah?
I feel in his own right, he felt he got disrespected. Meaning,
Because he believes himself that he won both of those fights.
very much so. The first fight to him goes, that was not a draw.
It wasn't.
How could you
It
guys
wasn't.
pick a draw? What angles were you looking at it as a judge? I was pounding him in every corner.
I thought Triple G took the first fight,
And if
honestly.
you, if you
First fight
really
was-
watch that fight
Yeah.
carefully, Canelo did, and this is a rare word I use, rare, that he was running from corner to corner.
Yeah.
He was avoiding Canelo, literally just running away from him. You can't win a fight by running. And literally, if you watch the fight, you'll see it. You're right. He went from one corner to another corner without punching. Why? Triple G chasing him. He was the hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's
And,
going.
and that wasn't a draw, clearly. The second fight, and I tell this to everybody, Canelo fought better.
Yeah.
This time he fought.
He took that
but
fight.
Yeah.
it wasn't a win. Triple G was still fighting again, and he was doing. If you look, he had the cleaner punches. Even though Canelo had some good punches, Triple G had good punches, and he was still the pressure fighter. If you watch that fight, he was still pressuring. He wasn't backing up. And so to take that fight away from him, I can see where he felt like it was an inside. He goes, what does it take for me to win? He realized Canelo is the favorite. Canelo was making more money. He got paid more. It was really the Canelo show. And he just felt like, hey, I'm Triple G. I deserve some kind of credit for it. So that does take a lot out of you.
You got something to say about that second fight, Mr. Lou?
The second Triple G fight
Yeah.
with Canelo. I think when I watched it, I give it to Canelo. It was a different fight for him. He fought a different fight. He fought the way they wanted. He fought the way Abel and Triple G wanted him to fight. They campaigned to have him stand or come forward, and that's exactly what he did. And I think what took away from Triple G was he wasn't used to fighting backwards.
Right.
He getting pushed backwards, so he didn't have an answer to a lot
Threw
of
him
things.
off his game.
Yeah, very much so. Canelo's a big boy. And I thought he was too small for 160, but he grew into it. And what is he at now, like 168?
168 right now.
So,
It's
so
incredible.
I think with that size and his weight, he's always put on like 18 pounds over night. You weigh in at like 154, coming in like 170 something or some crazy stuff like that.
So do you think he takes that this weekend?
Triple G. Yeah. I think Triple. I don't think he's done. I do think he's been in some wars and he's a new trainer and stuff and minor setback, but major comeback. I think he's still in the game. He's not the Triple G he used to be for sure, but I think he's still in the game. Yeah.
So what about the Canelo fight this weekend with Colin
Canelo fight. Thing about Canelo, what makes him different is in my opinion, and I think I touched on it before. I was a big skeptic of Canelo. I was skeptical of the way they were taking care of him, and he was campaigning as a big Mexican star. And as Mexicans, man, we want to see you brawl it out. We want to see you go not brawl it out necessarily, but go out and bang.
Dude, we want to fucking bang
yeah,
that
we want
shit
to brawl, right? But we want to see you fight everybody, and that's what I wanted from Canelo. And he came around. For me, in my opinion, he came around. He fought everyone that was put in there for him. Triple G, everyone. Cotto. I was kind of like, I can't believe he's fighting Cotto, and he showed me a lot. I think that fight was a turnaround fight for me.
Well, they say that Colin Smith is the Canelo of Europe, right?
Is he considered that? I mean,
I don't know if he's considered that.
I heard that a few places.
I was watching a couple of his highlights, and he attacks the body like Canelo. Like he goes in, goes for the liver, and he just goes ham.
He's definitely not a pushover at all. One of the fights Canelo gets criticized for is when he fought Rocky Fielding. And Rocky Fielding was like one of the fights that people are like, why is he fighting people like this when he's got other bigger names he could fight or whatnot. When he came in to fight Canelo, he had Rocky Fielding had one loss, and that one loss was Callum Smith. And Callum Smith is still undefeated. He's fresh, young, very confident, and like
27 wins.
27 wins, yeah.
27 wins.
19 knockouts.
He's a great fighter.
No losses, no draws.
I still edge Canelo for sure. The thing about Canelo, like I was saying, is Canelo is the type of fighter that gets better and better after every fight.
Well, he looks better and better every fight.
Yeah,
right.
Because he takes whatever it was from that fight and the mistakes. He's not a one-dimensional fighter. He learns and he gets better and better. And every fight proves it, man. He made a believer out of me, and like I said, I was skeptical.
Well, I thought he learned a lot when he fought Mayweather.
Oh, yeah. I
That's
think that was
where
his biggest
that's where the
test.
learning came from.
That loss was not really a loss in my book.
No,
That
it was not.
that
You are
Mayweather
correct.
took him to
big
school.
learning.
That's where he
Mayweather
realized
straight took him to
because
school.
everything favored him on that fight. He was bigger,
Younger.
heavier, younger, stronger. In his mind, there's no way you can win.
And he was the mentality, his IQ, the way he thinks is purely like a fighter. In the build up to it, he even stated, and it made me nervous because I had like $2,500 on that fight. I won like $2,500 on that fight from different people. He goes in the All Access or 24/7, whatever it was. He goes, see, a lot of these other fighters, they get discouraged and they get the confidence stripped because they get picked apart. And they get so angry they want to come at Mayweather and just rip his head off.
Right.
You have to stay composed. You have to be smart. And you have to cut off the ring. And I was like, oh my God, this kid knows what he's talking about. He's huge. He might come in. He might do it. But nonetheless, he came in and he went to school. That's all it was.
So who do you got this weekend, Coach?
Personally, it's hard to rule out Canelo. But this kid is a true super middleweight.
Who is? Callum?
Yep, a true middleweight. So it really,
He's taller.
technically, everything favors him.
So what happens if there's an upset this weekend?
Ooh, it could happen.
No,
this is
it
boxing.
absolutely
Anything can
could
happen in
happen.
boxing.
It absolutely
There's
could
no
happen.
guarantee in boxing. There's never a guarantee. That's something that really, it's like a basketball game. There's no guarantee in basketball game, but if a basketball team loses, not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if a boxer loses, it's a major deal.
Yeah.
So,
But it's Canelo's big enough, I think, where if he does take the loss, if it's not like a knockout or a brutal beating,
Right.
I think if it's like a decision or something like that or a knockdown, I think he just goes back to the drawing board, learns from the loss, and I think he still moves forward because he's not worried about losing. He's already lost.
no, and that's true. And you have to give him credit. He's willing to fight anybody. He's not avoiding anyone. So, and that's what broke up Golden Boy.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
what broke, Canelo
Yeah.
wanted to fight. He says, hey, put me out there.
put
And
someone in
Golden
front
Boy
of me.
did not want to. They were like, "No, we're still saving you." And he's like, "There's no way. There's no saving by me not
I
fighting."
cannot believe they
So-
let Canelo
They let
off like that.
That oh, trust me, they're
screwed up
they're
big time.
crying about it.
I'm sure they are.
That's not something you.
DAZN and Golden Boy
You know,
lost the
that's-
biggest star in boxing. For a lot of you guys who don't know, Canelo held the biggest sports contract in boxing history, I believe. And that was like $320 or $350 million over like 10 fights or something like that. Nice footwork, coach. And they couldn't put people in front of them. COVID or whatever it may be, lackluster fights, not the right opponents. And Canelo was like, screw it. You're not going to put me in a fight. Get me out of this contract. And supposedly they weren't paying him the money that was promised to him or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of different variables to the whole lawsuit, but he ended up suing him. He got out of the contract, so now he's a free agent, and he put himself
And did he get
in
paid?
this fight.
You got paid,
I
right?
don't think so. I think they have some kind of agreement for the payout, but I know he wasn't getting paid the money he was supposed to be getting paid. That's what's stated in the record.
All right, so call it. Who do you got? Triple G?
I got Triple G.
You got Canelo?
Canelo.
Who you got, Eric?
I'm gonna go off with the same thing, man. I haven't seen the other guy so much, so I'm gonna side with Triple G. But with the whole thing with his trainers switching, I don't know. I mean, for me, that's could go either way. But Canelo, I got Canelo.
So who you, Coach?
I hate to rule out Triple G. We'll see if he picks this up. So I have to say Triple G. As for Canelo, I'm in the Canelo bandwagon right now.
Me too. What about
Well, I'm going to be the, what do you call that? The,
Devil's
I'll go
advocate.
against the grain.
No,
Go against the
okay.
grain.
you? With which one?
With both of them.
What?
Oh!
Okay.
Big upset.
Yeah,
You
because
guys, so you guys are Meaton and Smith. Kellen
Yeah.
Smith. Dang.
I gotta, I'm going to go against the grain
Very good.
because, I don't know, Triple G doesn't look like the same person that he was years ago.
You know
He's
what?
older.
You never know, man. You really never know.
Unless it's going to be like the, like Pacquiao, when he had a shitty fight and came back and
came back
passed
harder
out
than
Thurman.
or when Amir Khan was a star and Danny Garcia came out of nowhere, knocked him out.
Right.
Or Maidana stopped Victor Ortiz. Or Maidana stopped Adrian Bronner. I mean, you never know, man.
I'm not going to bet on it,
Right.
but I'm just going
don't
against
lose
the
money
grain.
Okay, well, that's a good
So
one.
I got I'm gonna take the European Canelo.
All right.
The European.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so
And don't forget about these other up and coming guys too. I got a guy, Eric Priest, fights on the 17th. Eric Priest, follow him on Instagram. He just turned pro, I believe, and we just dropped some apparel for him. But he's gonna fight on the 17th. Tune in, support him, support all these up and comers, man.
and let's
that
try
what
to
you
get
got on right now?
but
That's what I got on right now.
Let's try to get Matthias Radcliffe on that Mayweather undercard too.
And Matias, try to get him on that Logan Paul undercard. He's he's like Berlanga, man. He's stopped everyone so far.
Yeah, has he?
Yeah,
Two-
he's all stoppages so far.
No shit.
Yeah, he's a little knockout machine, man. He's a monster.
That's
Matias is a
tight.
monster.
Well, you guys, this wraps up too.
All right.
Number 2, man.
Thanks everybody. I want to shout out my homeboys from the Roach Clip podcast for helping me get all this audio shit together.
Yeah, all the help. We do appreciate
Tolo
it.
Prodi and all the degenerates.
Thank you, guys.
Salute. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right.
Everyone, thanks for all the feedback. We
thanks
got a
for
lot
all
of
the
positive,
feedback,
great
for sure.
No, nothing is taken the wrong way. We take all feedback.
Everything,
Drop a comment if,
everything
you
is
guys wanna hear
positive.
another topic.
Very much so. This
You
is
know,
what we're
check us out on
learning.
YouTube, Spotify, and all your podcast
Platforms.
streams.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Boxing Club Podcast.
Out.
Out.
Peace out.
See you guys later.